Hi everyone, it's Julia Michienzi, Manager of MBA Recruiting and Admissions here at Ivey. Today in my video blog, I wanted to talk a little bit about GMAT. Given that we're going into the summertime, I'm hearing that a lot of candidates are spending some time doing studying over the summer, and I thought it would be helpful to give you a couple of tips that might help you as you're preparing to write the test in the coming months. So the first tip I have for GMAT is that you want to plan ahead in advance as much as possible. So think about the application deadline that you want to target and plan backwards in terms of giving yourself a couple of months of solid study time. Make a realistic study plan, whether you want to study 1 to 2 hours a night or 5 hours a week or cram on the weekends. Make something that's realistic and stick to it as a commitment over the summer. The second piece of advice that I have is give yourself some buffer time. So when you are planning, try to incorporate time for a GMAT rewrite should that be necessary. Candidly speaking, many of our candidates write the GMAT more than once. In terms of our admissions process, we don't look at this as a negative thing. We will only take your highest score. You can write the GMAT up to 5 times in a year, and you have to leave 30 days between each write. The struggle I see happen sometimes with candidates is that they put off the GMAT and put it off and put it off, and then they're scrambling in our final application round to get a score that they're happy with and submit the other components of their application. So my third piece of advice is to pull the trigger. You're never going to feel 100% ready to write the GMAT. So sometimes you just have to go ahead and do it and see how it goes. If you've given yourself that buffer time, you can learn from that first attempt, see what areas of the test you were strong in, maybe what sections were weaker, and then spend your time just studying on those areas that weren't as strong. With respect to our admissions criteria, we're looking for around a score in the 600 range. Currently, our class median is 670, so that's a good benchmark for you to aim for. You have to also keep in mind that GMAT comes into play in a couple of different places. So admissions is really the baseline, but when we're looking at scholarships and awards, we're also looking at GMAT as part of our benchmark because all of our scholarships and awards are merit-based. So it's the overall quality of your entire application relative to other candidates in the pool. So if you have a similar profile to another candidate or all other things sort of being equal in the admissions process, GMAT can sometimes be the tipping point for who we will award the scholarships to. The other really important thing you have to keep in mind about GMAT is for those of you who are interested in getting roles in investment banking or management consulting and you're wanting to work at some of those top firms or banks, GMAT will come into play in this process. Recruiters will typically use it as a benchmark in the recruiting process, and if you want to be competitive, you're going to want to be looking at a score that's closer to the 700 range. So with that in mind, happy studying this summer. If you have questions about your GMAT, perhaps you've written it, you're not sure if your score is competitive or if you should consider a rewrite, don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and we're happy to have a conversation about that. I look forward to seeing your applications this fall.